Hello everybody, my name is Mackenzie and I am a coach teaching you how to live your best life. This week we've been talking about what I believe is your most important asset, and that is your time. I was lucky enough this week to sit in a class where they were talking about how we spend our time, and we did a worksheet, and I wanted to share that with all of you because to me it was very life-changing to think about my life in terms of time. So let's take a look at that. So we started out with a worksheet that had 168 on it. And do you know what that is? 168, that's how many hours you have in a week. So everybody gets 168 hours in their week. But then we need to break that out. What is it you're doing with your time? Well, what's the number one thing you spend your time on? Of course, it's sleep. Now, on average, before I started this video, I went on to the Department of Labor and Statistics and looked at some of the surveys they do and learned about how people spend their time. So, on average, people sleep 8 hours a night. So, for an average week, that would be 56 hours. Now, of course, you write in whatever number here works for you. If you only sleep 6 hours a night, some people like 10 hours a night, however many hours you sleep a night, multiply that by 7. So in this case, 8 hours a night times 7 gives you 56 hours. So that's going to drop you down to 112 hours. Okay. So what are some of the other areas that you spend most of your time? And think about what's important to you. So think about, do you spend your time every week working out? Do you spend your hour every week going to work, obviously? Let's see, what else do you spend your time on? For me, food prep is big because I spend a lot of time doing food prep and chores. How much time a week do you spend eating? Time with family. So think about what are the things every week. What are the things that you do every week that are non-negotiable? So for me, I do trivia and cards twice a week. And for me, trivia and cards, that's about 8 hours a week that are non-negotiable for me. That's something I do every week, no matter what else is going on in life. So let's talk about what else. The average American spends less than a half hour a day working out. So that would be what, 3.5 hours? For me, it's 7 hours. Working, how many hours a week do you go to work? If you have a job with a set schedule, this will be easy. If you work for yourself, this will be a little bit more difficult. So let's say for just this purposes, we'll take what most people have for work a week, which is 40. Food prep and chores. The average woman spends close to 2 hours a week, 2 hours a day on food prep and chores. The average man spends about an hour and a half a day. So think about where you fall in that. So if it was 2 hours a day, let's put 14. And then eating, on average, a person spends about an hour a day eating. So that would be 7. Time with family, what's important to you? How many hours a day do you want to spend with your family? So for me, I put 14 because it's just me and my husband. So I figured on average about 2 hours a day, him and I spend together doing things together. But for you, what might that be? Maybe 2 hours a day plus a block on the weekend. So I would say maybe 20 hours with family. That would probably even be on the high end. But you can decide. So let's look at each of these. So so this is after sleep. We have 112 hours in our week. If we take out the 7 hours for the workout, we now have 105, I believe, if that's correct. And then after work, that would take us down to 65 hours. Then you have 14 hours for food prep and chores around the house. That's going to take us down to 51. And then eating will take us down to 40, 44. Time with family, you're going down to 24. And then after this 8 hours, you are going to have 16 hours left in your week. Okay? So this was eye-opening for me, because really, if you spent your time doing these major things, now, I don't know, maybe you have some other things on here, like a religious organization you belong to that you focus 2 hours a week on or 4 hours a week on. I mean, obviously you'd want to include that in here, but really think about where your time is going every week and how many hours you have left over. And for me, I think I filled out a pretty average one here. There's 16 hours in the week that I have to do the things that I'm passionate about, to create my most amazing life. So think about in your life, what is it you could be creating? So spend some time. I want you to work through this worksheet, and feel free in the comments below to put down what you came up with. I would love to hear maybe what are some of the things that you are unwilling to give up in the week. What are some things that maybe an aha moment you had about your week? So get down, figure out how much time it is that you have and where you spend your time. Because here's something I want to talk about is you have the time in your week to build the life of your dreams. I even think about, like, I gave you 20 hours a week to spend with your family. How are you, when you are utilizing this 20 hours, how are you completely present with your family and focused on what it is you're doing with them? Think of how incredible your life could be if you were making this time focused and memorable. It could be amazing. You could go do activities. You could just be present with your kids and not be focusing on the other areas of your life that you've committed time to. You would be completely focused on your family, your spouse, your kids, your grandkids, whatever that might be. The same thing goes for work. And the next video I shoot is going to specifically be about what is called time blocking. And I'm going to teach you how to block out your time so that you're creating that you're focusing your time on what it is that you're most passionate about. So stay tuned for that next video, because I'm going to specifically talk about work and making your work impactful. Okay, so you've had an opportunity today to look at how many hours you have in a week and how you're breaking that down. So let me know what you're thinking. Let me know what you found out about your life, and get out there and get focused on spending the time in your life creating the life of your dreams. Don't let that time slip by. One of the amazing things I learned doing this study from the Department of Labor and Statistics is that on average, I'm out of room here, on average, a man spends, spends 3 hours a week watching TV, and a woman spends 2.5 hours, this is a day. A man spends 3 hours a day on average, and a woman spends 2.5 hours a day watching television. Let that sink in for a minute, because that is, for a man, that is 21 hours a week that he is sitting in front of a TV watching somebody else live the life of their dreams and not getting out there and building his life. Now, that if he's totally happy where he is, or you're totally happy where you are, that's fine. But if you're watching 3 hours of TV a day, or for us ladies, 2.5 hours of TV a day, and you don't have the life you want, that's a major block of time you need to reconsider and take a look at. So anyway, I hope you'll take some time this week and look at where you're spending your 168 hours, because again, as I've said before, I believe that this is your most valuable asset, this 168 hours a week. Where are you spending it? Again, my name is Mackenzie, and I am a coach helping you to live your best life. I hope you'll check back later this week when I'm talking about time blocking. Thank you.